gentlemen, what's up? Big Bad Harmon, Greg.
Oh, hey.
Hey. Hey, now.
Hey. We got ourselves. We've got ourselves a 3-man pod here. Welcome back to the show, Gregulator.
Oh, listeners, I know you've missed me.
It's true.
I'm back.
Semi-regular Greg.
Semi-regular Greg.
Yeah, this is your first appearance on season 2, I believe. Isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, batten down the hatches, I guess, right?
Yeah, but as Harmon said, semi-regular on the first season.
Yeah, somebody on Twitter said they were going to try to catch up to me on my appearances, and good luck to you, sir, because
you are a mainstay here. And you've even got some recognition out at a Limitless show, I believe, once, where somebody was like, "Hey,
yes, somebody recognized me." Yes, they did say the Gregulator from Main Event Podcast, and I was like, "Yep, that's right. Do you have which breast do you want me to sign? Left, right?"
Well, you're
Just
welcome.
Point
sir.
to the one. Yeah, thank you.
Nice. So tonight we are doing a tournament. Greg, you always find yourself on the show when we do a tournament, and it's a nice addition, I think. But
I love tournaments.
Yeah, right? So in honor of...
it's the only time we need a third guy, so...
It's really true. Yeah, it's true. So March Madness is about to begin, so we thought, and actually Harmon thought, hey, let's do a tournament. March Madness is around the corner, let's do that. So then we figured out a topic, and I believe Harmon again said submissions, like favorite submissions. So here are the ideas, man. I was
trying to think of what we had done for tournaments on in March. We did what we do. We did
like tag teams.
Weapons too.
Weapons. Props was my favorite.
And
that was a good one.
I think we did music one time too. So
yep, we did
look at the backlog there. But
I still remember the props one was great. The props one was great because I found the hatred that Harmon had for Rick Martel's perfume bottle. That was
that's right.
That was my memories.
So illegal. Man.
Yes,
of the way we were.
Harmon hates Rick Martel almost as much as Mr. Perfect. Oh boy! So all right, let's do. So we're gonna do this tournament tonight. We're gonna get 16 submission moves and who did them. I feel like that's an important part of this.
Who made them famous?
Yeah, who made them famous, or just like your favorite,
or which one you prefer.
Yeah, which one you prefer.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, listeners, and you too. This isn't a best submission. It's kind of like your favorite submission. I feel like that adds a little personal touch to it because I'll admit that there are submission moves that I think are. That I like a lot, but they're not like the best of all time, but I like them. So
I got a few of those.
Yes. So
breaking news.
Yes.
We have just been followed on Twitter by the ECW original Mikey Whipwreck.
Oh, well, that's because Gregulator. I believe that's probably your.
He must be listening in live because he's also my follower.
Nice. ECW original Mikey Whipwreck. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I believe he followed Greg earlier, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's pretty awesome!" And then here we go, the follow up. So,
so he's on a tear today. So
he's on a tear. Yeah. I think he's just on a tear.
Don't worry about it. Let me have this one.
It's a good win for you. Soon enough, you're going to be signing Mikey Whipwreck's tit. So.
Oh, well.
No? All right. Let's go. Actually, before we dive in, let's do some real quick plugs. You guys can find us at Main Event Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Let's see, on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio. We got the hotline still kicking around, 929-260-3099. Give us a call. Let us know what you think. Ask us a question. Shout us out. Do a promo. We'll play you. Teespring store. Pinned to the top of our accounts. Go there, buy a shirt, buy a hoodie, a sticker, and some socks. Harmon put up some socks.
We're on socks.
We're on socks, baby. You want some Main Event Podcast socks? That's the place to get it. Teespring. Strong Style Brand, strongstylebrand.com/main event pod. Go there, buy some cool stuff, get a hoodie, get a tee, get some shoes, get some joggers. I don't know, all kinds of stuff. They are like loaded with indie wrestling inspired merch. Go there, fill up your cart, and then at checkout, enter code main event pod. You're going to get yourself 10% off of your total purchase. And then a little bit of that gets kicked back our way. So it's a good way to support this podcast if you like us. I could really use a new refrigerator. So any little bit will help, guys. My refrigerator shit to bed. So I need to keep food cold. Once the snow goes away, I'll need something.
So anybody wants to start that Johnny Fashion GoFundMe needs a fridge.
I need a fridge. I need a fridge, baby. So yeah. Those are two great ways to get me a new fridge. strongstylebrand.com/main event pod and our Teespring. So, if you guys are so inclined, feel free. I'm not going to.
On our Teespring.
It's a good. I think Johnny's it's a good.
So much. That
I know. It's true.
5,000 T-shirts for us to get a fridge. So,
and I'll get half a fridge. I'll get a college dorm fridge.
Your next T-shirt should be Johnny Fashion needs a fridge.
You know what?
I'd buy one of those.
It's not a bad idea. You know what? Let's do it. I've got tomorrow off with nothing but time tonight. I'm going to design the shit out of that tonight. Good idea.
Kind of in the vein of like I broke Wahoo's leg. Kind of Johnny Fashion needs a fridge.
I can see the Instagram graphic already for Friday. It's gonna be.
Oh boy!
Welcome to the tournament. Johnny needs a fridge.
Get Johnny a fridge.
It's cold out there.
It is cold. Well, it's gonna get warm soon, and then all my shit is gonna be warm, and I'm not gonna have Ben and Jerry's. I'm not gonna have any of that stuff. Anyway, that was the deal. That was the kicker. That was how I found out. So I went to grab my fish food, and it was liquid. I was like, oh no! So
and you can't refreeze that shit.
No. All the chocolate fish are at the bottom when you do. It's bad news. Anyway, last quick plug here. Limitless Wrestling, they've got a show coming up. Only Fools Are Satisfied. It's on March 30th at the Westbrook Armory. And Jesus, what a freaking show this thing's going to be, huh? I mean, it's no surprise.
So many people there.
Yeah, it's no surprise because Limitless is amazing. But holy shit. I mean, the main event, JT Dunn, Ace Romero, and Josh Briggs versus Teddy Hart, AR Fox, and Shane Strickland. I mean, Martin Stone versus Anthony Green.
My face might fall right off.
Yeah.
On that show.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts. Brian Cage versus David Starr in a first time ever match. I can't believe those two have never gone at it. Very, very cool. You got the Thick Boys versus the Workhorsemen. That's going to be a barn burner. Both tag teams can bring it. Two of my favorite tag teams right now, too, and they're going to go toe-to-toe. I don't know who to root for. Man. And then recently just announced, actually, I believe just announced tonight, it's a fatal four-way. Alley Cat versus Ashley Vox versus Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford. Jesus. I mean, what a crazy women's match. It's going to be nuts. Absolutely nuts. And then also there, Alexander Lee, Brody King, Christian Casanova, Craig Mitchell, Danger Kid, Jimmy Jacobs, Kevin Blackwood, Kevin Bennett recently added to the card. Very excited to see him. It's just going to be an absolute ridiculous night of wrestling. So I cannot wait for that show. It's going to be sweet. There's, I think, less than 75 tickets available. So if you guys want to go, get them now. Only general admission is left. Limitlesswrestling.com. Go there, get your tickets. That's how you're gonna go there to see this.
I'm doing that. I'm doing that the minute after this podcast is done.
You haven't done it yet? Oh my God.
Wait. I know. Well, it's definitely it's a problem. The procrastination is a problem.
I give Johnny shit for waiting.
I just said I was the problem. Jesus.
You two. I'm gonna have to separate you two. All right, let's start this goddamn tournament. Let's do this.
I'll just save you guys seats, behind me again.
Oh man,
I sit front row.
Well, it's I like when you sit in front of me because you're like a good buffer between, Brian Cage falling on me. So that's good.
I can also get you into fights with AR Fox, so that's good too.
Oh, hey, that's right.
Let's not do that, huh? We're buddies.
Yeah, that's right. That AR Fox was mean mugging you last time. Oh goodness. All right. Tournament time. Favorite submission move and by whom? So we reached out to Twitter and Facebook and we're like, hey, what's your favorite submission? Listeners of the show and who did it. And we got a surprisingly like a ridiculous amount of action on this, more than usual. So, man, it was kind of hard to pick. There were some numerous, repeats, and we tried to kind of pick one that was fairly obvious, I think, but also give somebody a shout out during this. So I think coming in at the number 1 seed, the listener of the show pick, the social media pick, is going to be Ric Flair's figure 4 leg lock. Woo! And it is submitted by Brian Hoy. So thank you, Brian. Big shout out to Brian. Thank you, man.
Not to be confused with
Brian Hoyer. No. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is. We'll see. But so Ric Flair's figure 4 leg lock is also he's going up there. So my good buddy Reno Kakinen said the figure 4 leg lock, but by Greg the Hammer Valentine, which I was like, oh, okay, Reno, that's
my stepfather said the same thing.
Did he? He went with Greg the Hammer. Yeah.
Yeah, he says he remembers seeing Greg the Hammer break, and I'm doing air quotes, Chief Jay Strongbow's leg when he was a kid.
Oh.
And then
seeing that's cool.
Jay leave with like a wrapped up leg.
Yeah.
Like he'd go around town with his leg wrapped up like it was still broken.
Nice. Yeah. Reno also said that Greg the Hammer did the laziest suplex, and that popped to me pretty hard. I laughed quite a bit. Like the laziest suplex. He just stood there and just threw him down, which made me laugh a lot. So big shout out to Reno. Thank you for submitting. Big shout out to Brian. Again, thank you for the Ric Flair. We're going to use it. I'm going to throw it in there right now. Ric Flair figure 4, number 1 seed. All right. There it is. Let's start this off with Greg. What's your first mission?
I'm going to go. This is in no particular order. I'm doing my list, but sure. I am going to say this is the full Nelson, but I'm going to, in this tournament, I'm going to refer to it as the Master Lock.
Ooh.
Which was made popular by Chris Masters. Not an overly, it was an old move when he brought it into the WWE, but I thought it was really cool the way that he did it. He obviously locked it in. He just shook the guy until they passed out, and then he kind of expanded it into the Master Lock Challenge, which was really cool. It was something that I remember looking forward to every week to see who was going to eventually break the Master Lock in the Master Lock Challenge. So it's something I remember enjoying, so that's why I included it in my list.
Yeah, I liked the Master Lock Challenge a lot. Who ended up breaking it? Was it Lashley? Was he the first to break it?
Yeah, Lashley and Big Show. Big Show.
Yeah.
Remember he kept stopping and saying the Big Show was all greased up. He's like, oh, greased up.
Yeah.
And I think he just attacked him after that.
He was greased up on his own tears because he cried so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had just turned heel, and then he turned face again, and he was crying, and then he couldn't get it on him.
Nice. Harvin, what do you got for us?
I'm going to go with the ankle lock. I like the Ken Shamrock version.
Ooh,
where
Shamrock.
he stayed low.
Oh,
grab the guy and bring that leg all the way up.
Yeah, he was intense too.
Yeah, I always kind of thought he might actually rip somebody's ankle off, just tear the foot right off.
Yeah, he's the guy that would have done that. And then, but I don't know, I'm UFC.
Kurt Angle, his is all right, and Jack Swagger, his was okay, but
yeah. I
think the Ken Shamrock version was the most devastating.
Nice. Yeah, I had the angle lock on mine, but I will not submit it. Let's see. I'm up. I'm going to say one that I don't know if it's definitely not considered the best of all time, but it's one that I remember that I thought was really, really fun. I'm going to say the Tongan Death Grip by Meng.
Ooh.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. I thought it was a cool move. I don't remember guys really even submitting from it. They just kind of passed out a lot. It was a nice staple in the WCW Thunder days when Meng was like on top of the mid card WCW Thunder show. So
now did he put his fingers like in the guy's mouth, right? Like grabbed a hold of like their bottom jaw, right?
yeah, it was different than the mandible claw. It was like it was like underneath. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, like underneath and like in the mouth and then like on the jaw. Yeah, you're right. A good Tongan death grip. So let's see. We will go back over to Greg, or do you guys want to swing it back and go to Harmon? How do you guys want to do this bad boy? Just keep going round robin style?
Yeah, sure.
Greg, go for it.
I'm going to do my next one is going to be Sharpshooter, made famous by Bret the Hitman Hart. So I'm going to take Bret Hart's Sharpshooter. I never really liked Sting's Scorpion Deathlock, and The Rock is probably my all-time favorite. And while I liked his Sharpshooter because it was minimal effort, I feel like.
Yeah.
But Bret Hart's was so believable, and the memory that sticks out with the Bret Hart Sharpshooter is, of course, when he did it to Stone Cold, and Stone Cold was just pouring blood, and so that's why I picked it. I think Bret Hart's is obviously the most memorable. So yeah, that's my next pick.
Makes sense. Harmon, what do you got?
I got one from probably one of the greatest luchadors of all time. The Dragon Sleeper.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Oh shit is right.
I had that on my list. I thought that was going to be
like a
no way. That thing was great.
A sleeper there, literally. Great move, man. I loved the Dragon Sleeper.
You know, the inverted face lock, and then you crank up on the guy, and you could drop him down on your knee. Oh yeah.
Very different. I liked it. I liked the way it looked. It's very cool. Let's see. I'm gonna say. See, there's so many different variations of this, but I think I'm gonna go with. I don't know if it's the original, but it's the oldest that I can remember. I'm gonna say the Camel Clutch by the Iron Sheik. I know that.
Very good.
I know Slaughter did it. I know Rusev kind of does it with Accolade, and like, I don't know. I think the Sheik, it's pretty iconic,
right?
The
Sultan.
Well, Slaughter only did it when he was with the Sheik. He did the Cobra Clutch after.
Yeah, the Cobra Clutch was what was Cobra Clutch? He did it was like
different. It was more like a $1 million dream.
$1 million dream, right? Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Camel Clutch.
I like it. I like Rusev's version really good, where he stomps the shit out of the guy first.
Yeah, I definitely like that as well. Greg, what you got for us?
I'm gonna go Mandible Claw. I saw that on Facebook as a suggestion. I was always a big fan of the Mandible Claw, but on Facebook I saw that they said the Mr. Sacco version, and that's not cutting it for me. Mandible Claw, Mankind, but when he used to wear that, it was kind of like a quarter glove where it brought his two middle fingers together.
Yeah.
That was probably, for me, I thought Mr. Sacco was entertaining, but I thought that version of the Mandible Claw was the most menacing, because I just remember guys just like spitting on that because they would be just like passed out and just like spitting up. So
Mandible too.
Yeah. When I remember the first time I watched him was on like Superstars on like a Sunday morning, and I remember seeing that for the first time and being so freaked out.
Yeah, well, because it's so different too. It's not just a wrestling move; it's just brutal.
Yeah, it's literally just like pushing the tongue down into the mandible, and it's weird, but it's great. It's always been one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's just something that like a serial killer would do. Like,
yes,
that's what I always thought. It always scared the shit out of me. And he was like squealing like a pig like half the time, and it was just fucking weird and creepy. I definitely agree with you. I would side with Mandible Claw over Mr. Sacco any day. As funny and entertaining as Mr. Sacco is, the Mandible Claw though, like it put way more damage on my youth. Like,
yes,
I don't like that at all. Anyway, Harmon, what you got?
Oh, let's see here. Just had what to do. I like the old fashioned sleeper hold, Roddy Piper style.
Nice.
I mean, you wouldn't have the Hulk up without the sleeper hold. I mean,
that's true. So
very important.
So you're going with Roddy too on it?
Yeah.
Nice. Not Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Nobody ever picks Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Variation.
I will say the only thing I really loved about Brutus's sleeper hold is that he could cut their hair off after because they were sleeping. Right? Any other famous sleeper holds? Like, I mean, not like the exact same one though. I mean, like I know the $1 Million Dream, but like just a straight up sleeper. It was like Piper.
Ziggler used to do it as a finisher, like early Ziggler. Really? Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he like I think he busts out every now and again, but yeah, it used to be like a staple for his offense.
Huh. All right, let's see. I'm up. I'm gonna go. Our boy Dustin's son is gonna hate this, but I'm gonna go the crossface chicken wing by Bob Backlund. Speaking of scary moves, when Bob Backlund put that on, it was really intense and it was really scary because he just went crazy, and he reminded me of like an angry dad just like beating the shit out of their son. like that's what it always reminded me of. And I was like, wow, that guy is really crazy. And whenever he gets that chicken wing on,
this is how I pictured old Jerry Kuchar
my dad
disciplining you at home, like just putting you in the chicken wing till you cried.
Well, not very far from the truth there, buddy. So
100. Yeah, 100%. That move used to freak me out, and I remember the throw in the towel match where Backlund beat Bret Hart.
Yeah,
and it was just like, because he was crazy, like his character at the time when he was feuding with Bret Hart, where he was just crazy, and he would slap that on. That used to freak me. I was a kid, and that used to freak me out. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, because it was just like ruthless, and it was no mercy, and it was it was a lot of like just unorthodox shaking, like just shaking someone around like a rag doll.
Yeah, and then like he'd eventually like fall to his back, and the guy would just be like defenseless.
Right. Yeah. And I know that's why our buddy Dustin hates him so much, is because it was unbelievable that he would beat Bret Hart when Bret Hart was arguably like in his prime, and
Dustin, anything that damages Bret Hart, Dustin's gonna rally against. So
yes. But yeah, at that time, Backlund was like is in his like 50s or like something like like very well past his prime, and had like recently come back after a very long hiatus from the company too. So
yeah,
very strange. Anyway, Greg, over to you.
My next one's going to be Lion Tamer from Chris Jericho.
Yes.
I always found it really weird that when he came over to WWE, he was doing the Walls of Jericho, which is, I mean, it's a Boston Crab, basically. So I found it weird that he didn't bring the Lion Tamer over with him, which is the knee onto the neck. That always puzzled me, because when he did it in WCW,
it looked way more painful in WCW.
Way more painful, absolutely. Yeah, the knee on the back of the head is where it's at.
but he has
really hurt.
Yeah.
yeah, probably.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know, but WWE is also really weird about things with the neck, moves involving the neck. So that could be the thing, but it was always a cool move to me, so I included it.
I used to use that move in like WCW Revenge all the time on Nintendo 64.
Yes, you did.
Yep, I would do that move a lot. I liked it. Harmon, what do you got for us?
Speaking of WCW Revenge, one of the coolest finishing moves in that game was Lex Luger's torture rack.
Oh my god, I didn't.
Oh damn! I didn't think of that.
That's a great.
Just a straight up power submission.
Awesome. Torture rack. I didn't even think of that.
Passes out.
Great.
I mean, Nikki Bella's version was probably better, but
the rack attack.
Yes.
But doesn't she like go down though and like?
Well, John, I don't know about that, but
go down, yeah. No, but I mean, doesn't she like kind of drop? Doesn't she drop to her knees? No, you guys know what I mean, right? She's like, she like jumps down.
Stop being a perv, John.
I'm not. Oh my god, you guys. She like jumps down and like it's more of like an impact thing, or am I just like mistaken that? I thought she. Anyway, maybe
You're
not. Ruining it. You're ruining the show, John. No, great submission, man. Torture rack. I completely forgot all about that. I don't often think about Lex Luger very much. Let's see. I'm up. Man, if we're going to stick to WCW submissions, I'm going to throw in the Rings of Saturn by Perry Saturn.
Ooh.
I thought that was a very cool move. Very different. Similar to like the crossface, but with kind of both arms behind. I thought it was cool. And I like the way that he applied it, and like his head was like kind of always rolling around. I thought it was really, really neat and innovative for the time. I thought Saturn had a great move set, and he had a lot of innovative moves, and I liked the Rings of Saturn a lot. I like when
I think he started more nitros than any person ever.
Yeah. He was a good worker, man.
First matches.
Yeah, I mean, at least I thought he was a good worker. He had like crazy moves. I mean, was he reckless at times? Absolutely. But anyway, I liked him.
Neville did it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neville started using it. When's Neville coming back? I miss Neville.
Never. Well, actually, Triple H took over 205 Live, and I guess he's close to maybe coming back. Because he knew that Triple H was in charge, so I don't know. Who knows?
That would be cool. Let's see. Over to Greg. This is your last pick.
All right. My last pick is the Anaconda Vice. Made famous by CM Punk. Which I always thought was a really cool move. He, the kind of rock bottom type setup into the Anaconda Vice, I always thought was really devastating looking. And so, yeah. Yeah,
I liked it. I gotta say, man, I went through a very brief CM Punk phase, like where I was like, man, that guy's fucking cool. But then like the rest of it, I was like, oh man, I don't know. He's kind of becoming a whiny bitch now. So, but the guy could definitely work, and he had some really cool moves, and that was one of them.
Yeah,
I definitely liked it.
I could definitely see that. And then there's been times where I've been like, man, shut your mouth, man. It's overwhelming sometimes the amount of shit he talks, but I was always a fan from like when he came into the WWE version of ECW, and then every iteration of his character on the main roster was great. So I don't know. I don't think he'll ever come back, and
I don't know,
but there's always a chance. I saw Ultimate Warrior and Vince McMahon hug just a few years ago, so that picture alone makes me think that anything is possible. So we'll see. But Anaconda Vice, one of my favorite submissions of all time.
There you go. Harmon, what you got for us? Your last submission here.
There's some that I like.
Tournament.
I said like, oh, if this hasn't been said yet, I'm going to say this one. If this hasn't been said yet, I'm going to say this one. But now I have like 3 of them that I want to say, and I can't. So I'm going to have to go with the Calf Crusher.
Nice. I did not have that on there. Very cool.
I really like that submission hold.
Yeah. It is very good.
There was 2 other ones that I really wanted to put in here, but I mean, maybe more, but that's I like it. It's different. It doesn't attack the neck, you know. It's attacking the legs, but in a completely different way. It's not like attacking a joint so much. It's going right after a muscle. So
it's a and he does it so slick too.
Yeah, he does it from all different angles and stuff, and it ends up being awesome looking every time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. AJ Styles is really good. I don't know if you guys know that. Like, he's a good wrestler.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's okay, right? Yeah, Captain Obvious. Yeah, he's so fucking good, and I love the way that he puts that on. Like, it's just effortless, like, to him. So, oh boy. All right, I'm in the same boat, Harmon. I've got like a lot of good ones left, and who do I want to toss in here? All right, I see it. It has not been said yet.
It better be what I think it is.
The Texas Cloverleaf.
That's the one.
Yes, that's one. Yeah,
I feel like
I was struggling.
Yeah.
Dean
Malenko style, not Sheamus style.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. I love that move. I think it's a great move. I think Malenko was like the perfect size guy to do it, especially because
it looks weird with everybody else doing it.
Well, yeah, like
Sheamus is so big.
He's so big, and he's just like lumbering through it. It's like, you know, Malenko was just so slick, so smooth, and you know, he's wrestling guys that are, you know, 180 pounds. You know, like guys that are like small like him, and he can just like throw that move on. Sheamus is like trying to do that move on, you know, guys like.
He's trying to do it on guys that are 230 pounds. But
right,
he's
exactly.
60 pounds.
Right. It's just really hard to do on a guy that's like 230, you know, 250. Malenko oftentimes would like do it with a guy facing up and then just like pull him up and then walk forward and then it's on. He wouldn't even have to like turn the guy over.
That was the best.
It was awesome.
Remember he did that in the video game and
yeah.
He did that. Yeah. That's how he did it. It was awesome.
Yeah. I loved Malenko. I thought he was awesome. We kind of got into that a little bit when we were watching that WCW pay-per-view a couple episodes back. But man, what a great worker! Like a smart worker too. So yeah, Texas Cloverleaf.
Kyle not a fan of him?
Kyle was not a fan of Texas Cloverleaf or Malenko rather. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of personality, so I can see that. But
yeah. But I kind of liked that though. You know, I think
but they don't all have to. I don't know. They don't all have to have personalities. Like it's like
it helps.
Well, I mean, not in that sense, but they don't have to have like exaggerated personalities. I guess is what I'm saying.
Right. I mean, it was simple. Like his gimmick was like, I'm gonna wear a leather vest and just come out and like,
you know, I'm gonna be the quiet, tough guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna play with my wrist tape and I'm just gonna stare at you and. It was pretty awesome. Dude,
I'm going to stand next to Benoit, and we're going to look like 2 scary motherfuckers.
Dude, his feud with Jericho in WCW was still, like, to this day, one of my favorite feuds. Like,
yes. When he had the original list.
Yeah. Yep.
Which was 1,001 holds.
Right. Yep. And then he was, like, calling Malenko's dad Boris Malenko. Instead of Boris Malenko. Very funny. And then Malenko at one point put on a luchador mask and like entered, I think it was like a battle royal, and ended up winning.
Mask was a whole costume.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And you know, and he won like a battle royal to like I think to win the cruiserweight title from Jericho or to like get a chance to face him.
To face Jericho. Yeah.
That's what it was. So it was very cool. I mean, it was a great feud. So big Malenko. Started going on Malenko spiel, but anyway, so that's it. That's our submissions there. We got 16 of them. So do you guys have any honorable mentions that didn't make it into this tournament before we start going through the bracket?
Yes, the label lock, the yes lock.
The yes lock, yeah. Yeah. I didn't have it on there, but it was in my brain. I thought about it.
I had a version of the yes lock, which was the bank statement.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
By my girl.
I was originally one of the ones I said when John and I were talking about this.
Yep.
Actually, I had a bunch of ones from the ladies.
Yeah, no ladies on this.
Disarmer. I also had
through.
Unbelievable. The Black Widow.
We're horrible.
I had on there. Yeah, we're terrible.
The page tap out.
Yep. Jeez. I also kind of went pretty basic and went with some old school. I went with the half crab with Lance Storm and the full Boston crab with Rick Martel. Yep. I liked both of those.
The Hell's Gate.
See, I was never a big fan of Hell's Gate.
I wasn't either.
I'm not a fan of guys.
All these lists online though always listed as like number 2, like the number 2 mission.
I don't get it. I mean, I don't like.
To me, it just looked like an old man trying to do jiu-jitsu in the ring.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a Gogo Plata. It's a 50-year-old man trying to do a Gogo Plata who doesn't do it very well. And again, I think it's really hard to do on, guys who are 250 pounds, and when you're not very flexible, like Undertaker.
Right. He's trying to do this at 45 and
yeah, like you're not Eddie Bravo, man. Like you just can't get your leg there. So I don't know, it's just really strange. I don't like when guys use MMA moves in the ring, like just for the sake of doing it. If like that's your gimmick, then that's fine. Brock, it's kind of acceptable. I mean, he went to UFC. I mean, I don't hate that he does the Kimura, but I don't love it. I think Ronda Rousey should be doing some MMA moves because that's what she is.
Right.
But,
Sonya Deville, she could do some MMA moves.
Yeah, exactly. But I just really dislike it when, a guy will do a submission. I'm like, well, okay. Like a Del Rio, like he'll do like the cross arm breaker. And it's like, well, that arm bar is in there for like a really long time. Like if this was a real fight, like that guy would either be tapping out or his arm would be broken. There's no 3 minutes in writhing pain. Is he going to tap out like deal? Like that's just not how that move should work. Pentagon does it great because it's just a one quick snap, and then you're done. But yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's not looking to submit people though. He's just looking to break arms.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So, I think what did I have for? Oh, I had the $1 Million Dream. That was the only one that I haven't mentioned yet, which I liked.
SPF.
Yep.
What was wrong with the spike? Remember, like was it Blackjack used to take the thumb and like drive it into the guy's neck?
Oh yeah. Was that a submission or did he just?
It was like a sleeper, but he used like his thumb to drive it into the guy's neck.
Yep, you're right. Yep. Very cool. All right, let's dive through this bracket. Right off the bat, we've got round 1. We've got the figure 4 versus the cloverleaf. Man,
brutal. Me?
Yeah, I know. That's just how these tournaments work.
Brackets be a little more random.
I wish. That's a tough one. I'm gonna say because it's favorite. I'm gonna say the cloverleaf. I mean, as iconic as the figure 4 is, and by Flair. It's great, but I preferred the Texas Cloverleaf. I thought it was different. It looked different. It took a little bit more skill to kind of slap on than the figure 4. I mean, the friggin' Miz uses the figure 4 and it's terrible. So anyway, so Cloverleaf for me. Greg, what do you think?
I'm gonna go. There's no move that has provided more drama than the figure 4.
Yep.
So there's been so many matches where this has been used, reversed, crawling to the ropes. So many moments have been provided to us with the figure 4 leg lock. So I'm going to go figure 4.
All right. Wow. Right off the bat, first bracket, we've got a split. Harmon, you are the deciding factor. What do you got for us?
Both very good moves. But I'm going to have to side with Greg on this one. no move has let two guys sit on their butt more in the middle of the ring than the 4 leg lock.
Excellent. Figure 4 leg lock.
Footsies with each other's junk in the middle of the ring.
Figure
4 leg lock.
Figure 4 leg lock. Moving on. All right. Next up, we've got Mandible Claw versus the Roddy Piper Sleeper. Harmon, why don't you start us off?
Well, crap.
No,
the sleeper was mine. I nominated it, so I'm gonna stick with that.
Sleeper it is. Greg, what do you got?
I'm gonna split it again. Mandible Claw, and just to sway you a little bit, John, I am going to tell you that the Mandible Claw made famous by Mick Foley, but what I learned today was it actually was originated by Sam Shepard. That might not be a professional wrestler name that you're familiar with, but he was the subject of the movie The Fugitive. After he was cleared, he became a professional wrestler.
What?
And made that move famous. So very, very cool backstory into a very, very cool move made famous by Mankind, Mick Foley. So my pick's the Mandible Claw.
Wow. How's that for a tidbit of information?
That's amazing.
That's
I thought so too. It might not be true because it's Wikipedia, but
it sounds like complete horseshit. I'm gonna throw that out there.
I mean, I'm gonna ask Mick Foley tonight. I'm sure he'll answer me.
Yeah, ask Dustin. They're best friends. Anybody can put anything on Wikipedia. That's how you know that you're getting the best information. Michael Scott said that from The Office. Let's see. I'm gonna say Mandible Claw. I think that it was so different, and it was just so like traumatic to me as a young lad, going like, man, I've never seen anything like that. That's scary as hell.
It was pretty devastating.
Yeah. As much as I love Piper, I was never like too fond of him using the sleeper. I mean, it was, hey, he does the sleeper, but it wasn't, I don't think, I never liked Piper for his wrestling.
I don't think he won a lot of matches with it.
No, I didn't love him before his wrestling. I liked him because of, because of his attitude and his charisma and all that. So if we're talking submission moves, I got to go Mandible Claw. So Claw, moving on. Up next, we got the Tongan Death Grip versus the Rings of Saturn. I submitted both of these. Greg, why don't you go first? That was a big sigh.
Give it to me one more time.
Tongan Death Grip versus Rings of Saturn.
Ha!
This is a WCW matchup.
Sure is. A WCW mid-level, mid-tier. This is a match you would see on Thunder.
I am going to go Rings of Saturn.
Rings of Saturn.
I always thought, like you said, he is very... out of control in the ring, or he could have been. But I always really liked Perry Saturn in WCW, and I liked him in WWE, especially when he came over with the Radicals and then the whole thing with Moppy, which was insane, but also entertaining.
Yes.
Well, he was on crystal meth, so.
well, that always helps. That's my motto. Crystal meth always helps.
Correct motto. Crystal meth helps.
Yeah. So I'm going to go Rings of Saturn.
Rings of Saturn. All right. Harmon, what you got for us?
I am going to go with the scariest man that ever wrestled, Haku in the new Tongan Death Grip.
Tongan Death Grip. Oh, boy.
Any man that can scare Andre the Giant deserves to be moved.
It's true. He was nuts. Remember when he got his hair, like his fro, all out? as Meng is awesome. So
Huge,
awesome.
Scary.
Such a big dude. Man, I like both of these a lot. I'm going to say Rings of Saturn just because, again, going back to that WCW NWO Revenge game, I was like, I used him a lot. I used Perry Saturn a lot just to do the Rings of Saturn. I was a submission guy in that game, as you could tell with the Lion Tamer and the Rings of Saturn. But I just like that move a lot. I think it was a really cool move. It was something different. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So I'm just going to go Rings of Saturn. I love the tongue and death grip too, but I think this one, Rings of Saturn, just gets the nod here just a little bit. Not by much, but just a little bit. Let's see. We got Sharpshooter versus the Torture Rack. Man, as blown away, Harmon, as I was when you threw out the Torture Rack, and I did like it.
A tough get.
Yeah, Sharpshooter, that's a tough draw for the Torture Rack there. So I'm going to go Sharpshooter. It's legendary. So Sharpshooter for me. Who wants to go next? Harmon, go for it.
Completely overrated. The Torture Rack was the way to go. It was a power move. It really attacked the spine. Very few men got away from it.
It's definitely different, I'll say. A standing overhead submission move. I mean, it's definitely different. It's one of its kind, I will say. So, Greg, what do you think?
I think just like the figure four, I think the Sharpshooter has led to so many iconic moments, like I mentioned before with Stone Cold, and then the Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels. I think, I liked the Torture Rack, but I loved the Sharpshooter, so I got to go Sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter. Moving on. All right. Other side of the bracket. We've got, starting at the top here, we got the Master Lock versus the Calf Crusher. Ooh, look at this matchup. This is an interesting matchup. Greg, I'll let you go first. Go for it.
I'm gonna go Master Lock.
Ooh.
Because I feel like they're the underdog in this matchup, and I like the Calf Crusher. It's just it's not my favorite thing that AJ Styles does. I guess it's my only point of contention here. But like I said, the Master Lock to me was very entertaining, and it also provided some entertainment on some drunken nights, I think, in college.
Trying to get out of the Master Lock.
Well, we used to hold our own Master Lock challenges. And...
Nice. Did you ever get out, or did you ever keep anybody in? What was your?
I don't remember. I was too many beers in. So
too many beers ago.
Yeah, too many beers ago.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm doing the Master Lock challenge at the next Limitless show.
Yes, get out.
I'm just gonna walk up behind people and start putting it on and be like, "Oh yeah, now get out."
I want to see you put it on Ace.
He might be too thick. I don't know.
Yeah. Harmon, who do you have here on this Master Lock Calf Crusher Jazz?
Calf Crusher. I picked it. It's mine.
That's where you're going with. Just that.
I'm riding that pony home.
All right, up to me then. It's a split. I will say Calf Crusher. I love it. I think the way he can slap it on just kind of out of nowhere all the time. Greg, you said that it's not your favorite thing that he does. I will say that it is one of, if not the favorite thing of mine that he does.
Look at you.
I think it's great. I think me being a submissions guy, I think it's awesome. I mean, I love the phenomenal forearm. The Styles Clash is awesome. Like, he does the crazy high flying stuff, but he's so slick. I think that his ground game is really underrated, just because he is phenomenal in the air. But he throws that Calf Crusher on so quickly and so smooth. I mean, you just never see it coming. It's fantastic. So Calf Crusher, moving on. Up next, we've got the Camel Clutch versus the Crossface Chicken Wing. Oof. A very
old school match.
Yeah, very old school, very same era kind of matchup here. I'll I will take it first here, I think. Man, I am going to say the camel clutch. Just because when I was a kid, seeing him put it on Hulk Hogan, see the Sheik putting on Hulk Hogan was like devastating to me. I was like, oh no, being a little Hulkamaniac. And he was a maniac. I mean, he still is a maniac. He's an absolute insane person, the Iron Sheik. So I'm going to go camel clutch. Harmon, what do you think?
I think cocaine's a hell of a drug. And,
and both of these guys were on it a lot, it seems.
I'm going to buck the trend here and go, I agree with you. I believe the camel clutch is the better submission hold.
There you go. It has
been decided. Sorry, Greg.
Yeah, sorry, Greg. What would you have said, Greg?
I was going to say crossface, actually.
Really? Wow.
Minority.
Yeah. Camel clutch going on. We've got the Ken Shamrock ankle lock versus the Anaconda Vice. Who wants to go? Harmon?
I'll go. I'll go ankle lock all day long.
Ankle lock all day from Harmon. Greg, over to you.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to take the Anaconda Vice. It was my pick.
Oh, boy.
I think it's a more believable submission. And also, I just want to add that I think Kurt Angle's ankle lock was better than Shamrock's. And so that's my other reasoning for picking Anaconda Vice.
I will agree with you on Kurt Angle's ankle lock being better than Shamrock's. I will say I don't know how I feel about Jack Swagger's compared to Shamrock's. Sorry, Jack Swagger.
Swagger's was so high.
Yeah.
Like, the guy just had to like spin a little bit.
Well, you're so tall.
He's so tall, yeah.
Shamrock went down to one knee, so the guy had to like literally turn into it.
Yeah. And like I said when we were kind of throwing those out there, the Anaconda Vice, CM Punk for me, I don't know. I didn't love it. I think because the Anaconda Vice is like it's kind of like an actual submission in MMA.
Right.
And I don't love it when guys do that. Like, I guess you could say that he's an MMA guy now if you want to really get technical about it, but is he? So I'm going to say the ankle lock from Ken Shamrock.
I still think Daniel Bryan could beat him in an MMA fight like right now.
Oh, I think so too. I think Daniel Bryan's probably like 10 times a grappler that CM Punk is. I'll stand by that all day. Has CM Punk ever stopped an intruder in his house by choking him out? No. Daniel Bryan has.
No, but he has had an epic Twitter battle with the Green Ranger.
True. And he has gotten knocked out. Yeah, so Shamrock moving on. Ankle lock.
Ankle lock.
Oh my god, this next matchup has me all fucked up. Ooh, Dragon Sleeper versus Lion Tamer.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, we should just end this thing now. Oof.
Well, good night, folks.
This is like a Final Four matchup. Like this.
You decide.
This can't happen in the first round. Ugh. Dragon Sleeper versus Lion Tamer. Greg, go for it. What do you got for us?
Well, my pick was both of these moves were on my list originally, and then Harmon stole my Dragon Sleeper. But I think Lion Tamer is a better move than Dragon Sleeper. They're both iconic, really great moves, but I'm gonna go Lion Tamer.
You're wrong. It's the Dragon Sleeper.
Oh man, come on, guys.
Lion Tamer is just a glorified Boston crab. Come on.
Yeah. Oh man.
It is flashy crap. Is what it is.
Man, both of these are so good. Two of my favorites. I think that as cool as the Lion Tamer was, I think, Greg, you may have lost me when you made when you submitted it, because you were talking about how he changed it and he didn't use it more, or he didn't use it like that when he came over to WWE. I feel like the Dragon Sleeper, Ultimo Dragon, used that bad boy to win championships all over the planet, pretty much. So I'm going to say Dragon Sleeper. He never got away from it. It's always his finisher. A good staple to his arsenal. Lion Tamer, really, it had a short shelf life in WCW. When it came to WWF, he changed it up.
When he came to WWF, it sucked so bad he gave it up. So
yeah, right. I'm gonna say Dragon Sleeper. Moving on.
My own words are my downfall once again.
Once again. Oh man. All right. Next round. Let's dive in. Figure 4 versus the Mandible Claw.
Ugh.
Harmon, let's start us off there. Figure 4, Mandible Claw. Figure 4 from the 16-time champ, Ric Flair, versus Mrs. Foley's baby boy.
God, this is a tough one. I'm going to have to stick with the classic. I'm going to go with the Figure 4 leg lock.
Figure 4.
I mean, come on. 16-time champion. Come on.
It's true. I'll go next. I think I'm going to go for the underdog in this one. I'm going to go Mandible Claw again, just for how traumatizing it was. I've seen the Figure 4 a million times. Mandible Claw, I liked it. I thought it was weird and gross and disgusting. And
it did leave guys drooling in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, and it was kind of awesome all at the same time. So, split it. Go over to Greg. What do you got? Tiebreaker.
This is gonna be Florida Gulf Coast right here. This is gonna be. I'm gonna say Mandible Claw.
Oh, no way!
I did talk about how Figure 4 is part of so many great moments, and it's such a huge, like, there, even non-wrestling fans know what the Figure 4 leg lock is, but at the same time, it's so bastardized. Like you said, it's The Miz does it. There's been so many people that have done the Figure 4 that it just doesn't stand out as much as the Mandible Claw, because I like the point you're making. Like when we watched a couple episodes ago that WCW pay-per-view, like Charles Robinson put it on, and I was just like, Mini Nate.
Yeah, Lil Nate put the Figure 4 on. Granted, he did it like really fucked up, like awkwardly, but he did it,
Wasn't he fighting a woman in that match?
He really was. He's fighting a woman. So, wow. Mandible Claw. Bracket buster right there.
Ooh.
Mandible Claw moving into the final 4.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. We have the Rings of Saturn versus the Sharpshooter. Perry Saturn versus Bret the Hitman Hart. Harmon, go for it.
I'm going to go Rings of Saturn. I like it better.
I liked it better, Rings of Saturn.
I think for the reasons that you're not picking the Figure 4 are the same reasons that the Sharpshooter is now becoming old and irrelevant.
Gotcha. Greg, what do you think?
I was so disinterested in the Rings of Saturn in the first round that I had to have you repeat the matchup.
Which one?
I'm sorry. I'm already bored from what you said, so I'm gonna have to go Sharpshooter here. I just it's a far better move than the Rings of Saturn.
I am going to say Sharpshooter because of who we're talking about putting it on. I think Bret Hart put it on just so flawlessly. I mean, you look at other guys who do it, I mean, like The Rock puts it on, like, and it's just awkward. And I mean, Cesaro does an okay job with it. I think he kind of does it to pay tribute to Tyson Kidd. When Kidd got hurt. And he does it pretty well. But still, I think that it's just like Brett did it the best. Grumpy old man Brett was kind of vocal about like people doing it really bad.
He complains about everything.
He does complain about a lot of things. Grumpy old man.
All right. But, sidebar: better sharpshooter, The Rock or Cesaro?
Oh, Cesaro, way better. I think Cesaro.
Better sharpshooter, Natalya or Cesaro?
Oh, that's true. She does
Natalya.
Natalya does it really well.
Better sharpshooter.
But she's also doing it. She's also doing it to more flexible people. To be fair,
that's true. That is
better
true.
Sharpshooter, Brett or Owen?
Oh, I mean, I gotta say Brett. I mean, Owen did it well, obviously, but it's Brett's move. I mean, you can't say that Owen does it better. He stole the move from him. Any other matchups? No. All right.
No, that's it.
Brett. I mean, Brett, hands down, he was the best at it. So, sharpshooter moving on into the final four. Other side of the bracket, we've got Calf Crusher versus Camel Clutch. I don't know. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Harmon, go first.
I'm going to go Calf Crusher. It's mine. I like it. Camel Clutch, it's still pretty good. I mean, but Calf Crusher, it looks more today. It's more. Maybe it's probably just the way AJ Styles does it. It just looks so modern and quick and unique.
Yep.
But definitely the Calf Crusher.
Yep. As much as I love the Camel Clutch, by the way, I want to say this. Whenever my father-in-law watches wrestling with me, whenever he comes up here from Florida, he always wants someone to put the other guy in a camel crunch because he doesn't know that it's a camel clutch, and it makes me laugh every single time. He has a bunch of like kind of like Freudian like mishaps like that with wrestling. I'll try and think of some other ones, but he just says a lot of things wrong and it makes me laugh. He just doesn't know. It's just funny. At least he's watching wrestling with me, which I think is really fun and cool. But anyway, I'm going to go Calf Crusher and not the Camel Clutch, not Crunch. So Calf Crusher is going to move on. Greg, what would you have said?
I was going to go Camel Clutch, but It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You don't.
I hate you both.
I'm gonna go Calf Crusher for the same reasons that Harmon said. I think that he just does it. It's unique and quick and he can kind of pull it out of nowhere and nobody else does it. And I don't think anybody else could really do it. I think, it's one of those moves that, the Camel Clutch, Rusev kind of does it. Slaughter did it. I don't think it takes a lot to do that move. Whereas the Calf Crusher, you got to be really slick. You got to be really good on the ground to get that Calf Crusher. There's a lot going on and AJ does it great. So, the ankle lock performed by Ken Shamrock versus the Dragon Sleeper, Ultimo Dragon. Greg, who do you get?
I'm gonna go Dragon Sleeper. I think it's just a more devastating move, and I don't know. I was never really like super impressed with Shamrock's ankle lock. I always thought the Dragon Sleeper was a really cool move and really simple. And I think that's what makes it really cool. So I'm going to go Dragon Sleeper.
I am too. I'm going to go Dragon Sleeper. It's unique. I don't see a lot of people do it. And he did it all over the world, man. And it was awesome. And he won championships like, his wingspan length of gold. With it. So as much as I like Ken Shamrock screaming at the top of his lungs, putting the ankle lock on, I'm going to go Dragon Sleeper. Harmon, what would you have said?
I was going to make it 3 for 3. Dragon Sleeper.
Dragon Sleeper.
Boom.
All right. Final four time. We are bringing it home here. Oh boy. Mandible Claw versus the Sharpshooter. Ooh, tough matchup. I haven't started one off in a while. I will start it off. Man, I really sold that Sharpshooter last round. And I think I'm gonna go with it. I think for a really long time I had Bret Hart as my favorite wrestler of all time. And I think part of that was just because he was such a great technician and he took a lot of pride in being that technician. And I think that the Sharpshooter was his move and nobody else could do it better. And it was his thing. So I'm going to go Sharpshooter for my vote. Harmon, who do you have?
No one move could be comedy and horror at the same time.
Good points.
Like good the Mandible Claw. From Mr. Sacco to the original like 2-finger glove that he wore. The Mandible Claw is the submission that I would fear the most.
Oh, great point. I love that. Greg, what do you got?
This is heartbreaking.
It really is.
This is almost too much for me to decide.
Oh man.
I'm gonna have to go Sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter.
Like I said, there's just too many. I have too many memories invested into the Sharpshooter.
Survivor Series.
Yep. And then, like I said, the Iron Man match between him and Shawn Michaels and
Montreal Screwjob.
Montreal Screwjob,
based off of the
right. It's the biggest story in professional wrestling is the Montreal Screwjob. That's a great point.
And in the middle,
it's based off of one move. Yep. So that is a fantastic point. You had that. I feel like you had that in your pocket and to play that card.
And I was just hoping that it was like going to make it to the finals.
Yeah, it's
way to go. Yeah. You blew your wad early. So
it's moving on. It takes out Mandible Claw, moves on to the finals. Sharpshooter, done by Bret Hart.
So one more left. What do we got? We got the figure 4 leg lock.
No,
left.
Figure 4 got booted out by Mandible Claw last round. We have on the other side of the bracket, Calf Crusher versus Dragon Sleeper. Oof, man, it's a good matchup too. The winner of this will take on the Sharpshooter in the finals. So, Calf Crusher versus Dragon Sleeper. Harmon, who do you have?
This is very tough.
I know.
I guess I'm going to have to go with Dragon Sleeper. It was the more effective of the two at winning multiple championships and finishing off matches. The Calf Crusher wins matches, but not at the rate that the Dragon Sleeper did.
Great point. Greg, what do you think?
I'm going to have to cut the drama here because, I mean, listen, I love AJ Styles. To me,
we all do. If you don't love AJ Styles, you can get out of my internet.
The fuck out right now.
to me, the thing that makes a professional wrestler the best is how they can make anybody look really, really, really good. And the two best, in my opinion, are Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles. Nobody is better than those two at making somebody else look good. That being said, I got to get the Calf Crusher out of here. I'm going to go Dragon Sleeper. Johnny's not even going to get to weigh in on it.
Not even going to. No. For the record, I would have agreed with both of you. Dragon Sleeper. Harmon, I think you made some really good points there. Like, Calf Crusher is a single move in AJ Styles' arsenal, but it's not his main move. He wins matches doing other things. Dragon Sleeper. Not that Dragon Sleeper was Ultimo Dragon's only move, but as far as what he won matches with, man, Dragon Sleeper was lethal. So Dragon Sleeper moving on to the finals. So boys, our work here is done. We will be taking Sharpshooter versus the Dragon Sleeper to the wonderful world of Twitter, to a poll where our listeners can vote on it, and feel free to sway our listeners any way you two want to vote for your favorite. Do we want to do that?
Well, time to fire up some gifts.
Yes. Do you guys want to, like, what would you guys have said on this matchup? Our votes don't mean jack shit right now, but what would you have said if you had to be the deciding factor on this? Sharpshooter versus Dragon Sleeper.
I couldn't. I don't think I don't want to make a decision.
No.
I would have to flip a coin, I think.
Yeah.
It's.
I agree. I think it's such a hard matchup.
Yeah, they're two very, very iconic moves, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the sharpshooter pretty much like you guys were saying, there was so many moments where that was the focal point of a match. I mean, that one move made Stone Cold Steve Austin the biggest,
Yeah, that's a great point. With the blood going down his face, he's in the sharpshooter, not wanting to give up. Great.
It made Shawn Michaels also
put him on another level.
Right. Yeah. It's the way the sharpshooter was used to tell stories probably outweighs everything. But like I said, I don't want to say.
Right. Well, I think too is like the amount of pride that Bret had, or still has, obviously, like in that one move where he's like so vocal about other guys doing it and doing it not perfectly. It just shows a lot, like how near and dear that move is to his heart and to wrestling, really.
And there's never been a move that's had more top names using it. So you've got Bret Hart, you've got The Rock, and you've got Sting that all had that as a submission finisher.
Yeah.
Which is wild because it just doesn't happen. Like you've got one main guy like Ric Flair, or like you said, Greg the Hammer with a figure four, but nobody really that's never anybody's really go-to. That's like a huge name. You've got three huge names using the same finisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nowadays you have to have almost have permission to use it,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna take that to Twitter, and listeners, you guys can vote on it. We'll do a poll up after the show airs, and vote on it. Share it around. I'm sure we'll get some hits. Like I said, we got a lot of submissions.
We'll have to ask Teddy Hart what he thinks.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think we know. Maybe I don't know. Actually, I don't know. He's a strange cat, but we'll see.
Pin that man down.
No. Anyway, that's it. Greg, where can people find you on social media?
I am on the Twitter.
The Twitter.
Yes, it's a social media site. It's at Gregulator85.
Love it. Harmon, what about yourself?
I am at Harmon316. And I'd like to wish a belated happy birthday to the MJF. I think he's finally old enough to drink. I don't
know. He is on my ticket, by the way. He is on my Limitless ticket.
I got Fox, AR Fox.
Oh, nice. Good. I would have rather had AR Fox. I kid. You guys can find me on Twitter at Johnny Fashion. You guys can find the show's Twitter at Main Event Pod. We're also on Instagram and Facebook under that same at Main Event Pod. I got the Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, and still waiting for that Spotify. I don't know. Maybe I got to throw something at them again. But I see Wrestling Podcast About Nothing is now on Spotify. Good for you guys. Crockett, what'd you do to get on there? God, who'd you pay to get on Spotify? I've been waiting for
Mr. Spotify.
I've been waiting a month to get on that thing. Anyway, great. If I could give a big shout out to those guys. I just listened to their latest episode with Chase Del Monte, and it was fantastic. It was great. I mean, it was one of the one of the best episodes of any genre of podcasts that I've listened to in a long time. I was snow blowing my ass off the other night listening to it, and it got me through it, man. It was a great episode. So mad props to the wrestling podcast about nothing, Malonis and Crockett over there doing great things. So give them a listen if you guys haven't already. Let's see. If you guys want to call us, our hotline 929-260-3099. Leave us a message. Tell us, hey, stop talking about submission wrestling, or hey, why the hell didn't the figure 4 go further in the bracket? I don't know. Whatever you guys want to do, we'll play it on the air if you want. Just let us know. Teespring, we have Teespring store. You guys can buy sweatshirts, T-shirts, little kid T-shirts if your kid likes wrestling and likes the show. You can buy a shirt for them. Again, got to keep in mind, guys, I need a fridge. So
let's not forget
T-shirt comes tomorrow.
Let's not forget the
Johnny Fashion needs a fridge.
The breaking news over the past week: Wrestlers Laboratory.
Absolutely.
Show, Lab Normal. It's going to be in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, on July 8th. There's going to be guys from all over the country there. We are your Northeast contributors. Help sponsor the show. We're doing you some correspondence, I guess.
Yeah, we are the Northeast correspondents. So yeah, coming up in the near future, we should be having some guests on the show who are going to be performing at that show. We're going to work out something with the talent there, but it's going to be a crazy show, man. Wrestlers Lab is fucking cool as hell. Those guys do an awesome job at putting out shows. They're just like two guys that, man, they're just grassroots. They love being wrestling fans, and they're doing it, man. They're living their dream right now of putting on wrestling shows. It's fantastic. Their whole thing is, man, they're just giving people chances. They're
right.
They're bringing in new guys.
They're picking guys from all over the place. They're not location centric. They've got guys from all over the place. Yeah, and you're going to
see a lot of first time matchups at a Wrestlers Lab show. It's just really cool. Great guys.
And if anybody's getting a car together and they want two guys to take up seats and help pay tolls and gas, Johnny and I are thinking about it. So.
Yeah, look no further. No further.
And we can go to Nova Burger, who was sponsoring the show, and get a Nova Burger and some drinks at the Nova Burger Grill and Cafe.
Sounds amazing. Oh my God. I want to do this so bad. Let's do it. All right, guys. That's the show. Greg, thank you so much for coming on, man. You're always so much fun.
Anytime.
Next tourney. I swear to God. Are you in the final? What'd you submit? Did you submit either?
Sharpshooter.
You fucking asshole.
Sharpshooter.
You're in the hunt. You bastard.
Sharpshooter, and I was gonna do the Dragon Sleeper, but
but I got the Dragon Sleeper this time.
Shut up, Harmon! Shut up!
You're not on both sides of this one.
Harmon has a chance. Nice, awesome. Greg, thanks for coming on, man. Harmon, thank you so much again for always joining me and always being my right hand man. Listeners at home, thanks for listening. Catch you later.
Bye.
Talking about wrestling from the day in the past. It's gonna be a blast. Johnny and Harmon are the main event podcast.